Hey, Damon DiMarco here for CreateX3.com, and today's video is going to talk about top 5 things that you need to know when traveling with a typewriter. Stay with us all the way to the end and you'll hear the most important suggestion that I can give to anybody about traveling with a typewriter. This video comes at the request of subscriber Arkel Esperas. And by the way, if you want to see a video, all you have to do is leave it in the comments section and I'll try and get to it as soon as I can. That's the way the comment section works. Okay? Okay. So, let's get to it. Top 5 things that you need to know when traveling with a typewriter. Number 1, don't ever check your typewriter as baggage. No. Why do I say that? Because once you check something as baggage, it goes into a cycle where it gets handled by a lot of different people and it thrown on a cart, and then the cart gets rolled over bumpy ground, and then the cart goes up to the plane, the belly of the plane, and somebody has to heave the stuff into there. I'm not saying anything against baggage handlers. I'm saying that a typewriter is a delicate piece of machinery, and the more times you subject it to being moved around, tossed around, God forbid dropped. If the machine is dropped, write it off. Trust me, I learned this the hard way. One of my favorite machines got dropped and it never worked again. So you don't want to do that. It is your typewriter.
This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
It is a delicate piece of equipment. It should stay in your possession at all times. Now, the good news here is that even a portable typewriter should qualify as carry-on for major airlines. And I qualify that by saying they're changing the rules all the time about, what the size of the carry-on should be and so on. Always check with your airline if you're flying with a typewriter before you get on board to make sure that the measurements and the weight and everything correspond to what their current specification is for a carry-on bag. Don't ever let the typewriter out of your sight. It's your piece of equipment.
My rifle is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I must master my life.
Whatever typewriter you're traveling with, just make sure that you have it with you at all times. Number 2, get yourself an ultra-portable machine. Take a look here. An ultra-portable machine is a machine that is ultra-portable for a reason. It generally weighs 8 pounds. It was built to be a traveling machine. Even the old portable machines were like 13 pounds or 16 pounds, and that's when you put it on the tabletop. When you put them in their case, they could weigh 16 pounds or 18 pounds. I don't know about you, but I don't necessarily want to be lugging that all over the place with me. So, go from portable to ultra-portable. Take a look at this typewriter right here, for instance. That's a early 1970s Olympia Socialite that I just restored a little while ago. Again, approximately 8 pounds. Take a look at it next to the Olympia SM3, which was 1958 or so. That's a 16-pound machine. You can basically have the weight of the machine by going with the Socialite or the Traveler, that's another model that they had, over the Olympia SM3. In other words, going with the ultra-portable version over the portable version. What are some great ultra-portable machines? Well, I'll tell you. You've got the Olivetti Lettera 22. You've got the Olivetti Lettera 32. Take a look at how easy it is to work with this Smith Corona Skywriter right here. See, all you have to do is pop the lid off, boom, begin working with it, pop the lid back onto it, and you're ready to go again. Most ultra portables don't have as much functionality as, say, a portable or a desktop. Although the Olivetti Lettera 22 and the Olivetti Lettera 32 do in fact have the same functionality. Bottom line, if you're going to be traveling around a lot, make your life easier. Get an ultra portable machine that you can live with and you can work with. You'll spare yourself a whole bunch of heartache, and you'll also spare yourself a whole bunch of backaches. Number 3, wrap that rascal. If you're carrying your typewriter around in a bag, like say this Olivetti Lettera 32 here, it's my belief that doing so, even just moving the typewriter around, is going to get some dust in the works. And mark my words, if you've learned nothing from me at this point, you must learn that dust and WD-40 are terrible things for typewriters. They should just never go into your typewriter if you can possibly avoid it. So, I know I'm being anal retentive. Make sure that if you're carrying a typewriter around in a loose bag, that you wrap it up in some kind of plastic. To me, at least in my weird head, it just says, hey, there's another layer of protection there. It's keeping dust from getting into the segment. It's keeping dust from getting into the works. And that way I feel better about things. What does it cost me? It costs me nothing. It costs me a plastic grocery bag, which, by the way, I reuse. Because I hate plastic grocery bags. They're floating around the universe all over the place. They're in the ocean. I don't like them. So whenever I use one, I try and use it 5, 6, 7, 8 times before finally giving it the heave-ho to the recycling bin. Wrap your typewriter. Number 4, bring a carrying case of tools with you. You never know when they're going to come in handy. Here is a shot of the tools that I typically carry with me. This is kind of like my traveling writer's kit at this point. Everything is right there wrapped up. It's got everything that I could possibly use at any point to do my job. It's got pliers in it, it's got a spring hook in it, it's got pencils in it, it's got pencil sharpeners, fountain pens in it. I also have some ink in there, and I also have a tiny, tiny little bottle of spindle oil, which if you've seen some of the other videos that I've put up here, you'll know that if I need just a little dollop of oil, which is all you ever need for a typewriter, I have it with me right there, and I can just put it on there. I even carry extra ribbons with me. You should know the ribbon size of your typewriter and carry an extra ribbon or two depending on how long that you're going to be in that particular location. If you need a video about typewriter ribbons and spools, check out my video on typewriter ribbons and spools. And finally, the most important one, number 5, my all-time greatest whiz-bang travel tip for traveling with a typewriter is don't travel with a typewriter. Not if you can help it. I personally love to have typewriters with me at all times. Even if I don't get around to using them, I just feel more comfortable knowing that I've got one on my desk no matter where I am. It's a comfort blanket for me. So why am I saying don't travel with a typewriter? I'm saying think ahead. If you know, for instance, that you visit a certain relative's house a lot, or you visit a friend's place a lot, or you're going to be at some place for a month or 2 months off and on throughout the year, stash a typewriter there. You might want to have a cache of typewriters in different locations. I know lots of people who do this. I do it myself. At one point I had 4 different typewriters stashed in 4 different locations that I was visiting as I traveled from place to place. I'm assuming that it's a friend or a family member. Ask that person if they will hold the typewriter for you. Most of the time, if you tell them why, I don't want to lug this machine back and forth through buses, putting it into the trunk of the car, getting it out of the trunk of the car, getting onto the train with it, coming off the train with it. If you tell them all that, they'll say, absolutely, just put it right under that desk right there. Or, okay, you can stick it right in that corner right there. Any special feeding and care instructions? And you say, no, just leave it alone. It keeps you from having to lug the things all over the place. And when you get to where you're going, you say hi to everybody, you go up to your place, you unpack things, you look around, you say, there's my typewriter. You pull it out, you put it onto the desktop, you are ready to work in a moment's notice. What does it cost you? You could probably come across a good typewriter that's in decent working condition for $50 to $100, and you can just stash these things like a squirrel hiding nuts in every little place that you go to. That's what I did. It worked really, really well for me. Pre-order and ship as many supplies as you think you're going to need. If it's ribbons, if it's paper, if it's anything of that sort, well, you know, they have services now where you can just kind of order that stuff online and have it shipped to any location, and it will get there within a day or 2. So lessen the burden on yourself. I get my exercise in other ways. I don't necessarily have to be walking around lugging typewriters all the time. So, to recap, the top 5 tips for traveling with a typewriter. Number 1, don't let anybody else touch the typewriter. Keep it with you at all times. Number 2, invest in an ultra-portable typewriter if you possibly can. Number 3, wrap that typewriter, wrap it up. Number 4, bring your tools with you. And the ultimate whiz-bang rule for traveling with a typewriter is don't travel with a typewriter, not if you don't have to. If you can, ahead of time, buy a typewriter and keep it at the location that you're going to. Thanks for watching. Damon DiMarco here for CreateX3.com. Come to our website. Go to CreateX3.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay creative.